This isn't going to just go away like some cold. He needs to learn to live with it. You both do.
Dr. Xue, just because you have Chinese face is not mean you're understanding us.
Joe, are you all right? We can take a break.
No, I'm okay.
Hey, Eric, how you doing, man?
Hey, Edward, nice to meet you.
I know about this movie since Tribeca, and actually know your editor, Joe Krings, who I see at the Metrograph all the time. He does like the Ace Presents thing there. Probably see him tomorrow night. So I was very excited to finally see this movie. I guess it's interesting because this is your feature directorial debut, and you cover a lot of bases. You have cancer, schizophrenia, school shootings, suicide. I mean, really everything. How did you kind of get involved with like Marilyn and Lucy to kind of tell the story?
Yeah, so my background is as a cinematographer. I've shot numerous indie features and commercials and documentaries. And I had worked with Minette Louie, one of our producers, many times. And so, we had talked about working on other projects together. And luckily, once she had, her and her other producers, Andrew Corkin and Theo James, had optioned the article and had Marilyn adapt it when they were looking for directors. Luckily, she thought of me, and I read the script and it really connected with it. It broke my heart. And I really, I saw my own family within that story. And, I felt like it was a story that I could tell honestly and truthfully. And, yeah, like you said, it has all these complex elements and maybe not, the best first outing, and the best thing to take on as a first outing as a director. But, you know, I, I felt like it was such an urgent story and I needed to be the one to tell it. And luckily the producers agreed and they took a leap of faith on me.
They're working with Lucy Liu, which she's going to do the accent. It's kind of like, I mean, obviously she's lived in and around Chinese people for most of her life, all of her life. How do you guys decide, like, how much Irene's going to be, more on the Chinese side of things?
It was a discussion, and in talking about her portrayal of Irene, it was all about emotional honesty and authenticity to the world. And Lucy really tapped into her own biography. People she knew. I'm sure her mother factored into her ideas of how to portray an immigrant woman. In a situation like this, and we had a lot of discussions. Working with Lucy is amazing. She was so committed to this film, and we spent like weeks in prep, just kicking around every single piece of dialogue, every piece of the scene to make sure it felt right and it was authentic and true. You know, and she was so committed and devoted that time in prep, and I thought that just was so inspiring and just so amazing that she had this passion for the story. The same amount of passion we had in trying to make this film. So, uh, I think she just poured herself completely into the role and tapped into, she dug deep and I think audiences will connect with her.
Was it hard finding Lawrence to play Joe? I mean, it's amazing performance, and it's also his first feature, oddly enough. So did it take a long time to find him, and what was kind of the process?
Yeah, it was an exhaustive process. We cast a wide net. Our casting directors, Jessica Kelly and Stacey Rice, I think they got over 600 submissions, and then we had like 300 actors put themselves on tape and combed through all those and found Lawrence. Yeah, he'd only done short films and student films before, but it was immediately apparent on his audition tape that he had like this incredible instinct. His choices were always interesting. He had incredible empathy for this character, and he had the imagination to to take what would be, he had the imagination to really explore what it would be like to be a child with schizophrenia and what that would be like, and the willingness to go there.
Was this a movie that took a long time to develop and get from like when you came on board to actually getting on set to shoot it?
Yeah, so it took 7 years.
And Rosemead's actually in California, is that right? That's your
Yeah, it's
place?
an
Okay.
ethnic enclave in the San Gabriel Valley, which is sort of east of Los Angeles. Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese communities there.
But you're in New York originally, right?
Yeah, so I went to NYU and I've stayed there since. Yeah. So I'm a New Yorker.
So how was it shooting in California? I mean, I assume as a cinematographer, you've shot there a lot.
I have shot in California a lot, but we shot the bulk of the film in New York in February,
Okay,
and then we shot the exteriors in San Gabriel Valley here in California. So
awesome.
Part of the magic trick of the filmmaking was to make those two worlds make sense and to feel like California. But we were blessed with sort of a warm winter that year. There was only one day where we had a blizzard that we couldn't show the windows inside the house. But yeah, we lucked out with the weather.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just assumed you shot it out all out there. Yeah. Now you do this background as a cinematographer. So was there any point where you were going to shoot this as well as directed, or did you really want to kind of separate and just focus on working with the actors and things like that?
Yeah, I never thought I would shoot this film and direct. It would just be too intense. Like I knew, I've obviously been alongside a lot of directors and seen how difficult it is to direct a film. And I knew if I was worrying about lensing and lighting and camera movement, I would be using that as a crutch where I needed to really focus, everything on performances and the world and making sure that the story felt completely, authentic and true to the emotions we wanted. So, yeah, it never crossed my mind because I was like, if I'm directing for the first time, there's no way I can also like, yeah, be on the camera and worrying about those things.
Did you have someone from your camera team who worked on some other movies that you could kind of promote the cinematographer or?
So I actually asked my classmate from NYU, a great DP named Lyle Vincent, who I've known since my NYU days. We both went to NYU. True story, the first set that our producer Minette Louie ever set foot on as a PA was a NYU thesis film I was DPing, and Lyle Vincent, who DP'd our film, was doing sound on that same shoot. So we had, and then, many, many, many years later, we got together and got to make Rosemead.
Now, as the filmmaker, as a first feature, what would you like people to get out of this movie? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that people can think about afterwards. Obviously, I don't want to spoil some things, but like, as a filmmaker, what would you like people to get out of it? I mean, this is something you spend a lot of time making. So,
Yeah, I mean, I really hope it sparks conversations, about um, the stigma around mental health, about how shame and isolation can lead people to feel like they have to make impossible choices. You know, it's intense stuff, but the sort of the root and the foundation of the whole film is this love between the mother and child, and I hope people feel that and they understand that, as they go into it.
做错了什么？万强，大家都知道你有多爱他。
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I really am. Joe, you stay away from us!
I'm looking for my son. His name is Joe Zhao.
你要坚强，为了 Joe。
宝贝，不管发生什么事，妈咪永远爱你。